My name is Anna. Forget about my facial features and my character. The one thing you need to know about me is that life wasn't fair to me. And before you give me that crap about how I'm just over exaggerating, for the first time in your life, just listen to what I have to say. Maybe you will be the first to hear my story. As I said, life wasn't fair to me. At the age of 6, I lost my mother in a terrible car accident. Dad immediately took to drugs and alcohol. The worst part is that he brought home women that I wish never existed, but they did, and they treated me like crap. In total, I think they were up to 6. And if I thought the first one was bad, the next proved to be worse. Their bad behavior towards me didn't hurt as much as my father's. From the age of 6, I started sorting things out for myself. When children of my age were going to school, I was picking up trash to earn a few naira. When they were celebrating Christmas with their picture perfect family, I was cutting down trees and selling them to earn a living. When I turned 16, my father gave up the ghost. If I am to be honest with you, I did not feel sad about it. I wanted him to die. I prayed for him to die. That was the first mistake I made because after he died, I realized that maybe I should have been praying for his salvation. Life got harder, it got miserable, and I didn't know who to turn to. After his funeral, my wonderful relative decided that the best thing to do would be to put me in a foster home. But I was 16 and I could very well take care of myself if none of them was brave enough to do it. So I ran. That was the second mistake I made. Life without my father's little income proved to be harder than I had anticipated, but I was determined to make it on my own. I sought for jobs and the only one I could get was at a tailor's shop. I started work immediately and realized how good I was at it. I love to sew. I love to create. The art transported me to a different world, a world where I was normal, a world where I had everything I wanted, a world I could only wish for. During the day, I would walk till my back became stiff, my eyes became heavy, and my fingers were sore. But still, I worked. It was the only thing I could do, the only thing that would save me. After 6 months, I saved up enough to get an apartment. The only furniture I had was a bed, but to me, it felt like a castle. It was the one place I could call mine, and I relished in that. Life was starting to brighten up, so I believed. Suddenly, it got so much better. James came into my life. When he walked through the doors of my boss's shop, the whole room brightened up. I have never in all my adventurous life seen a man so perfectly built. I was 26 when I first laid my eyes on James, 26 when I fell in love with him, and 26 when we started dating. Life was fair to me. It just took a while to show it. The door jingled as a figure walked into the shop. I lifted my eyes from my work top and saw James. The smile on my face grew brighter. "Babe," he said, and walked towards me. Once he reached me, he gave me a peck on my forehead, causing me to blush. The girls I worked with said, and I hid my face in James's jacket. I wasn't a shy type, but James's constant public display of affection made me shy. Don't get me wrong, I loved it, but it did attract a lot of attention to me, and I sometimes wish that it didn't. Everyone wanted to know who was the lucky girl standing next to the gorgeous man. "Babe, are we still on for dinner tonight?" he asked. No exactly. I'm so sorry, babe. I just have a lot of work to do, and I don't think I will finish up on time and meet you. Can we make it tomorrow? I asked. James tried to hide the disappointment that displayed on his face, but after having known him for a year, I knew so much about him and his facial expression, and from the look on his face, he was upset. "Babe, I promise that I'll make it up to you," I said. "How? Will you spend the night?" He asked with a smile that didn't reach his intelligent eyes. What? If you agree to spend the night at my place tomorrow, then I won't feel sad anymore. So what do you say? Oh, I hated sleeping at another person's place. In a span of 11 years, I have managed to deal with my demons and got enough furniture to fill up my little space. It had become my place of solitude and I never wanted to leave it. But James was giving me the puppy eyes and I just couldn't turn down his offer of sleeping over at his place. At least not again. Okay, fine, I'll sleep over. Yes, he threw his hand in the air in a mild celebration. Okay, can you go now? I asked, afraid that my boss might come out and see him. Mrs. Sandra Effiong was a nice woman, but she had her limits, and I never wanted to cross them. Okay, fine. He gave me another kiss and walked away. I went back to my job, and by past 10, I was done for the day. I decided to walk back home. It was shorter and I could exercise my muscles while I walked. The road was slightly damp as it had rained in the afternoon, and silence engulfed the environment. I walked silently while enjoying the sound of my bones cracking with every step I took. A few blocks away from my self-contained block, I saw a doll on the floor. My eyes could have been deceiving me, but the doll wasn't smiling. It had a frown on his face. I knew very well that children didn't live in my neighborhood. It was filled with nosy females and loud men. As such, I couldn't help but allow my mind to bubble with questions like, what was a doll doing here? Against my beliefs, I picked it up and headed to the building. I scantily dropped the doll on the table. My eyes scanned my room and finally landed on my sewing machine. I felt it calling me and I hurriedly picked up the phone. I sat on the stool beside it and got to work on a new design. A few minutes later, NEPA decided to perform an evil act by taking the lights. Ah! I groaned in frustration. Gosh! I wish the lights would come back on. It didn't take more than a second before my wish was granted. And worse, it didn't strike me as anything mysterious. I went back to my sewing. I decided to call it a night by midnight. I stood up to my closet to pick out my outfit for the next day, but nothing in my wardrobe looked attractive to me. Man, I wish I had a few new clothes, I said and went to bed. At this point, I might sound crazy, but immediately I closed my eyes, the lights went off. I awoke the next morning to a pile of clothes lying beside me. My eyes widened as I looked at them. I couldn't believe my eyes, and I also didn't ask why or how. I was too excited and happy. I picked up the clothes, rushed to my table, stood in front of the mirror, and tried them on. To my widest surprise, they were the perfect fit. I moved around, loving how good the clothes felt on my body, till my eyes fell on the doll. It was staring at me, and this time it wasn't frowning, but smiling. I wasn't oblivious to the supernatural world. I believed in everything spiritual and magical, so it didn't take me long to figure out that the door was behind my wishes coming true. I immediately took the door and inspected it. I didn't see any clues, nothing that could help me know where the door came from. Apparently, it didn't have a manual, but it had a strange number on the back. The number, however, wasn't assigned to anyone, and calling it was a waste of time. I decided to take the door as life's gift to me. I took it as a peace offering from life, and I shook its hands with a smile on my face. Throughout the day, I kept making wishes, and they kept coming to pass. I used the doll's power to get everything I ever wanted: a new house, a new car. I even started a fashion brand. The last move was done in case the doll lost its mojo. I would fall back on the fashion industry. I started to make a living. James and everyone around me were surprised by my newfound wealth. I told them all that I had been saving up and that I recently made a very good investment and finally it paid off. It was a simple lie that did the trick. I considered myself to be very smart when I made the move to start my own fashion brand because a few months later, I came back home to my penthouse apartment and the door had gone back to frowning. It didn't matter to me. I had gotten everything I wanted. Another thing you should know is that when humans get addicted to one thing, it's hard to stop it. I had grown accustomed to having the door fulfill all my wishes, and unconsciously, I continued to make wishes, but none of them came to pass. After a few months, I decided to let it go, but I didn't get rid of the door. A part of me believed that one day it will get back its powers and I will benefit from it again. On a beautiful Saturday evening, I fell asleep on my couch and woke up to the banging on my door. "Anna, open up," the lady shouted. I knew the voice too well. It belonged to Precious, a friend I made on my way to the top. I rushed to open the door. "Hold your horses," I shouted as I turned the doorknob. Immediately the door was opened, she barged into the penthouse apartment. "Anna, you are still sleeping and your life is about to be ruined," she bellowed. "What are you talking about?" I asked her. "Okay, I didn't want to tell you anything before, but I have been seeing your boyfriend James with a particular girl all week. At first, I thought he was cheating on you, but I couldn't believe it because it's James. Everyone knows how much he loves and adores you. He wouldn't do a thing like that. But I'm just coming back from Stallion Hotel and I saw them at the bar being all lovey-dovey." What? Questions raced through my mind as I tried to wrap my brain around it all. It had to be a lie. James couldn't be cheating on me. I picked up my keys and rushed out of my house. "Where are you going?" Precious asked. "To see for myself," I shouted the answer. In less than a few minutes, I was in my car, driving like a maniac to the hotel Precious claimed she saw my James at. When I got there, I didn't wait for anyone to open the gate. I left my car engine running and I dashed into the hotel. I headed straight to the bar. My heart fell as I saw James holding hands with another woman while whispering into her ears, and the bitch had the nerve to laugh at his joke. He must have felt my presence or the fact that my heart was breaking because he turned his eyes on me. "Anna," I saw him mouth my name, and before he could come close to me, I turned and ran away. Again, I drove like a maniac. Just this time, I had tears running down my face. I couldn't control it, couldn't stop it. Precious was still waiting for me. "Oh, Anna," she soliloquized when she saw the tears running down my cheeks. I pushed her aside and stomped into my house. I slammed the door, clearly stating that I wanted to be alone. I was angry, I was hot, and I couldn't stop crying. "No!" I screamed out. Still, I felt like shit. It was hard to believe that James would do such a thing to me. I cried a river, and all I wanted was revenge. Precious kept knocking, but I never opened the door. James kept calling, but I never picked up. I lay on the floor, numb and void of all emotions. As my eyes closed, I made a wish. I wished that James would die. I woke up the next morning to my phone ringing. My eyes were swollen shut, but I still saw the caller ID. It was Precious. I threw the phone to the side and left for the bathroom to wash up. I didn't feel any better, and my phone kept ringing. Out of frustration, I picked it up from the floor, and just then the call ended. I was about to drop the phone when I saw a text message from James. I opened it and it read, "Anna, I'm so sorry. It was meant to be a surprise, but Nancy is just a wedding planner. I hired her to help me plan the engagement party and also the wedding. Baby, you know I love you. Please pick up the phone so that we can talk, please." Joy filled my heart when I saw the text message. I knew it. I knew James couldn't just leave me. With immense joy, I dialed his number, but he didn't pick up. I tried again and still no response. Immediately, another call entered my phone. It was Precious. "Precious, I'm trying to reach James. We were wrong. He wasn't cheating. He was just with a wedding planner. I've been trying to call him, but he isn't picking up." Oh my God, you don't know? Her voice sounded sad. No, what? Precious, what are you talking about? Anna, James is dead. The piano fell on him when he was leaving his house this morning. The phone fell from my hands. I made a slow collision with the floor. New tears ran down my eyes. How? How could he be dead? I thought. My phone rang again, causing my eyes to avert from the space it was staring into to the broken phone on the ground that was still ringing. With shaking hands, I reached down to pick up the phone. The caller had no ID, but chills ran down my spine. Hello, I said with a shaky voice. Hello, Annabel. You don't know me, but I know you. You took my doll and used it to get everything you need. The doll only grants the number of wishes you make that corresponds to the age at which your life started getting messy. For you, darling Anna, that was age 6 when your mother died. But just as the doll gives you 6 wishes, 5 of which will benefit you, it keeps one for itself. You exhausted your 5 wishes by asking for electricity, new clothes, a new car, a new house, and a successful fashion brand. But the last wish had to be something that will benefit my baby doll. It waited patiently till you made a wish that involved blood, a wish that would benefit it. You took your boyfriend. Believe me, his blood tasted like honey. And now my baby doll is free to go to its new home. Thank you for feeding it and have a nice life, Annabel. The line went dead. I rushed to the table where I had placed the doll, and my eyes widened when I realized that it was gone. But it left a note that read, be careful what you wish for. No! I screamed and fell to the ground. Life wasn't fair to me. Now you know why I said so.